Beauty isn't some deep truth hiding in the universe. It's a group agreement, quiet one, and everyone pretends it's not. It works a lot like other social rituals we never question. Wearing uncomfortable clothes to look professional, acting like you enjoy things just because they signal status. We all know it's a performance, but we keep clapping anyway. What we call beauty is basically shared imagination. People convince themselves they are seeing something objective, when in reality, they are just agreeing not to disagree. One month you are stunning, next month you are average. A year later, your features are suddenly back in fashion again. The same face can move from flaw to icon without changing at all. Only the crowd changes its mind. And still, we treat beauty like hard science, as if there's a formula, as if attraction follows laws like gravity, just with better lighting. If beauty were biological destiny, no one would need filters, angles, retakes, or three different light sources to look effortless. Nothing about this is natural. It's manufactured, curated, polished, less like genetics, more like fast production, quick to consume, slow to satisfy. So if you feel unattractive, it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because the current aesthetic just doesn't benefit you. That's it. Same reason someone shows up underdressed to a formal event and suddenly becomes a joke. Not because their clothes are immoral, but because they missed the memo. Beauty works the same way. An invisible dress code that updates every season. Miss one update and people look at you like you broke a rule no one ever explained. The darker part, we treat ugly like a character flaw, as if existing without fitting the standard is an offense. As if you owe the world an apology for not looking like a walking advertisement for success. It's not enough to admire beauty anymore. We want obedience to it, and anyone who doesn't comply becomes a problem. Until, of course, someone famous does the same thing. Then it magically turns into style. That's the giveaway. Beauty isn't a gift, it's approval. A fragile, shifting consensus that survives because questioning it is exhausting. So let's be clear about one thing. You are not ugly. You just haven't signed today's version of the agreement. You know what usually gets labeled as ugly? Anything that didn't come with a full team of well-paid professionals shoving it in your face until you learned how to like it. That's it. Ugliness isn't a flaw. It's a lack of advertising. Beauty just has better sponsors. Take Crocs, for example. Those rubber shoes that look like an industrial mishap. For years, there was a global agreement. Wearing those in public meant aesthetic bankruptcy. Then Balenciaga stepped in, put them on models who looked half alien, half exhausted, slapped on a price tag that could cover a car payment. And just like that, fashion. They didn't get prettier, they got promoted. When ugly receives enough money, it changes its name. It becomes a concept. Same thing with food. Oysters, for instance. You are basically eating a slimy ocean creature that looks like the sea called a quote. But place it on fine porcelain, add lemon, throw a few French words, and suddenly it's sophisticated. Nothing about the thing itself changed, only the branding did. Ugliness just lost the PR battle. And that's the dirty trick. We think beauty is about merit, when it's really about exposure, reach, algorithm, repetition. Stuff that shows up often enough starts to feel valuable. Just like a catchy song you didn't like at first. Play it enough times and one morning you are humming it, convinced it's good. At some point, you stop telling the difference between quality and familiarity. That beautiful face isn't better than yours. It just had more paid traffic. The beauty industry lives off this. First, they invent problems you never had. Your nose is too big. Your hair is too wild. Your skin looks too human. Then they sell you fixes, procedures, creams, filters, and a brand new set of insecurities to collect. Marketing doesn't just define what's ugly. It manufactures ugliness so it can sell you beauty as the cure, and you buy it happily, thinking you are building self-esteem, when you are really just renting approval for a limited time. Here's the wild part. If people genuinely liked their own imperfections, this entire billion-dollar house of cards would collapse. Brands know that, so they keep the illusion alive. Beauty is privilege, ugliness is personal failure. If you are not attractive, it's your fault. Not because no one invested millions promoting your face, but because you didn't take care of yourself. Convenient, right? So before you decide you are ugly, ask yourself something honest. Are you actually unattractive, or did you just never get a marketing team, a contract with Dior, and an army of editors polishing your image until it shines on everyone's feed? Yeah, probably that. Ugliness doesn't exist. Ugliness doesn't exist. Only lack of publicity. Perfection turns people into products. I once met a girl who looked like she belonged in a catalog called People Who Made It. Every detail was calibrated, eyebrows aligned with surgical precision, skin that didn't seem real, a smile that probably cost more than an old car. The kind of person who walks into a room and everyone either wants to be her or have her. She also cried in the office back room almost every day. That part never shows up online. Online, you only get the cover version. Trips, glowing teeth, perfect lighting, captions about gratitude written like a DNA code. What doesn't appear is the constant fear, the terror of sleeping just a millimeter and getting kicked out of the club of the flawless. Because that club has zero tolerance. One visible pore and you are done. That's what no one tells you. Chasing perfection isn't vanity, it's submission. You become a servant to your own display case. The more perfect you look, the more expensive it gets to keep the illusion alive. It's like holding a house of cards in a storm. You can do it for a while, but it costs everything: time, energy, mental health, and ironically, any real sense of happiness. At some point, you stop being a person and turn into a product, and we all know what happens to products. They get replaced. There is always someone newer, younger, more symmetrical, waiting to take your spot. Perfection doesn't give you value, it gives you an expiration date. You become a limited edition of yourself with a silent countdown. Here's the craziest part. The people who look the most perfect are often the closest to falling apart. Because when you teach the world to only accept your polished version, there is no room left to exist as a human. No bad skin days, no bad moods, no off moments. You live under permanent aesthetic surveillance. Every gesture measured, every word curated, every expression filtered. And marketing doesn't comfort anyone. The final irony, the perfection you are chasing isn't even real. It's a digital Frankenstein, stitched together with filters, procedures, and apps that slim everything, even the soul. A standard no one truly reaches, but everyone pretends they have. So you run after a mirage and blame yourself for being thirsty in the desert. In the end, this obsession with perfection doesn't elevate you, it cages you. Shiny on the outside, rotting on the inside. Smiling for audiences who applaud your performance while secretly wanting you to fall. And somehow, we still call that success. Something is considered ugly until a famous person does the exact same thing. That ripped hoodie you wore at school, the one they used to call you homeless for, it could magically become grunge if some celebrity show up wearing it. Same fabric, same damage. Only the name on the badge changed. Thick eyebrows used to be a joke too. Until Adam Levine showed up with two luxury caterpillars on his face, and suddenly the industry decided that was elegance. Your eyebrows didn't change, their value did. Neck tattoos, criminal behavior, said every uncle at a barbecue. Then Justin Bieber tattooed his neck, and overnight it turned into artistic self-expression. Funny how individuality only gets respected when it comes with millions in the bank. Cat teeth? Fix that immediately. Dentists used to scream. Then Madonna smiled and the world went iconic. Crocs? I don't even need to explain that one again. One day it's a joke. Next day it's on a runway. Nothing actually became more beautiful. It just received the VIP stamp. See the pattern? The object never changes, only the status of the person wearing it. Aesthetics aren't about form, they are about power. When someone famous does it, it stops being weird and starts being bold. And you, who were doing it years earlier, weren't a visionary. You were just the wrong person with the right timing. The mechanism is simple. The world worships status far more than beauty. Celebrities function like authenticity certificates. If a regular person does it, it's embarrassing. If someone with enough followers does it, it's daring. People don't really see beauty, they see hierarchy. And the funniest part, everyone knows this. Yet people still exhaust themselves trying to predict the next trend just to avoid being labeled outdated, when in reality, what defines tacky or chic is just the stamp of some influencer who probably picked that look because the designer was hungover and felt like messing around. In this context, beauty isn't quality, it's permission. You don't need to be attractive. You just need someone famous to do it before you. Aesthetics don't validate people. People with status validate aesthetics. And tomorrow, when the trend flips again, the same crowd that called you a visionary will call you outdated. Because no one truly cares about aesthetics themselves. They care about belonging to the right group at the right time with the right look approved by the social media oracle. So yeah, nothing is ugly. It just hasn't gone viral yet. Beauty is like fireworks. It explodes, shines, impresses, and 5 seconds later, everyone's back on their phone. Authenticity is more like a fireplace. No spectacle, no drama. Yet somehow, you sit there staring, not even sure why. That's the difference. Beauty creates impact. Authenticity creates attachment. You've felt this before. Scrolling through your feed, you stop on someone incredibly attractive for maybe 3 seconds. Then your thumb keeps moving. Now think about that person who isn't perfect at all, but you can't stop watching, listening, following. They feel real. They are not selling anything. They are just there. That's what hooks you. The problem is everyone wants to be fireworks. No one wants to be the fireplace. So the internet turns into a zoo of people posing at their most optimized angle, hovering inside the tiny margin of imperfection allowed, hoping to be noticed before they are forgotten. Pretty enough to get clicks, generic enough not to disturb anymore. The result? An ocean of flawless faces you forget seconds after seeing. Beauty catches the eye, but it doesn't hold anyone's hand. Authenticity does. Because it doesn't try to hypnotize, it connects. It shows flaws, awkward pauses, contradictions, all the things algorithms hate and human brains love, because they feel human. That's why your slightly chaotic friend who talks nonsense sometimes pulls people in more easily than someone who looks like a marble statue. One feels like a person, the other feels like a catalog. And catalogs don't comfort you. They don't mess up. They don't make you feel less alone. Here's another thing. Beauty demands constant maintenance. Like an expensive plant that dies the moment you stop paying attention. Authenticity survives on dry land. It doesn't need makeup, perfect lighting, or inspirational captions. It just needs to exist. And exists so effortlessly that it annoys people who are exhausted from trying to look interesting. Yes, the world still values beauty, it always will, but only until it gets bored, and the world gets bored fast. Today's novelty is tomorrow's background noise. Authenticity doesn't age like that because it doesn't depend on trends. It depends on truth, and truth doesn't go out of style. So if you want to be remembered, stop trying to be beautiful. Start being impossible to ignore. Be someone people recognize from far away, not by facial symmetry, but by the unique chaos that you are. Beauty makes people say, wow. Authenticity makes them stay. And sometimes you say, I want to be beautiful. No, you don't. You want to be wanted. You want to walk into a room and feel eyes burn into you with curiosity. You want that quiet pause, that moment where attention slips and someone loses focus because you are there. That's not beauty, that's desire. Beauty is technical, facial symmetry, ratios, measurements, stuff only obsessed dentists and Renaissance sculptors truly care about. Desire is a different substance. Desire is that irrational spark you can't explain without sounding stupid. You don't analyze it, you just feel pulled. And here's the twist. They are not the same thing. You've seen it before. People who look flawless, assembled like stored mannequins, who vanish from memory minutes later. Beauty might catch attention. Desire sticks. Beauty is visual. Desire is chemical. And chemistry ignores symmetry, ignores standards, ignores logic. That's why sometimes you are drawn to someone who doesn't fit the template at all. Your brain isn't voting on attractiveness, it's being hijacked by presence, charisma, confidence, energy. Meanwhile, you are standing in front of a mirror trying to manufacture desire with beauty formulas, polishing your face like it's an architectural project, thinking that once you reach the ideal version, the world will finally kneel. It won't. Desire doesn't come from perfection. It comes from tension, from certainty, from someone bold enough to exist without asking permission. While you hide, trying to be acceptable, the person who's slightly too much, too real to be forgettable, takes the stage. Here's the truth no one likes to swallow. The most desired person in the room is rarely the most beautiful one. It's the one who moves like they belong there, the one who speaks as if they already know their value, the one who isn't begging for approval because they decided they matter even if no one claps. That's addictive. Beauty makes people say, wow. Desire makes people think, I need that. Different verbs, different parts of the brain. And you keep trying to win the second by betting everything on the first. It's like trying to win a war with flower petals. So maybe you are not chasing beauty at all. Everyone is chasing desire disguised as an aesthetic standard, as if libido could be purchased at the counter of Sephora. It can't. Desire isn't painted on. It isn't filtered. It isn't injected. Desire is asserted. And the moment you understand that, you stop playing the game of looking beautiful and start playing the game of being impossible to ignore.